Hello, my name is Hannah. Today we are going to be talking about creating an intentional living space on a budget. So this is part one, and I have my computer here for some notes. So today we're going to be talking about prepping our pants off. So first, I would just like to say that I am very tired of being chaotic and surviving and not thriving. So I put a little game plan together for both of us to kind of help us create an intentional living space on a budget. So first, what is intentional living? So living with intention really means thinking about the choices that you're making rather than letting your environment or your impulses determine what choices you make. This is not easy and it takes practice after practice after practice. So let me just say that first. Why is this important? So, your space is so important because it's kind of where you go back to recharge. So, you go out, you go to work, someone pisses you off, or you're sitting in bad traffic, you're just not feeling great. When we go out and leave our homes, we're constantly battling stress. So it's really important that when you come home, you don't feel as stressed and you feel like you have the time and the environment to heal. So that's part of it. I for myself want a personal sanctuary where I can unwind, relax, and recharge. It is also important for your emotional well being because if you do not recharge, you will eventually crash. There's only so much a person can take. Just think of yourself as a glass of water. People come and take a little sip from your little glass. The water's going down and down and down. Eventually, there's not going to be any left, and you're going to lose it. I've been there. You don't want to be there. So that's why it's important. Now that we kind of know why it's important to make sure that your space is in tip-top shape, let's talk about the prep work. So first, I want you to reflect on your values, know what is important to you, and what is going to guide you in the decisions you make for your living space. So for example, sustainability can be a really important value. So when you're selecting the pieces for your home, you'll want to make sure that you get them from sustainable resources, like you can thrift, maybe use some old pallet wood that someone is throwing out or has on Facebook Marketplace, something like that. You may want to consider reducing your energy consumption. Do you want the space to reflect you and your personality? Or do you want it to be a little bit more blank and minimalistic? Are you moving in with a new partner? That's also really important. You'll want to bring that person in to the conversation because you'll both be living there and you'll both need to heal from that space. Are you more into functionality or aesthetics? Do you want every piece in your house to have a function? Or do you just like the way it looks? And the way it looks is what makes you happy. Those are important things to consider. I also want you to consider flexibility and adaptability. So if you know that in a couple of years you'll be moving, you may want to get some pieces that are a little bit smaller, more compact to move. If you are considering having a child or getting a pet in the future, you may want to get some pieces that are a little bit easier to care for the pets or the child, or can kind of change. So, for example, if you're going to have a baby, I know for me, for the future, I want to get one of those beds that converts from a crib to a toddler bed and then to like a twin size bed, just so that I don't have to keep buying beds. So that's something you need to consider. I also want you to consider the technology balance. So discuss the role that technology is going to kind of have in your space. Some people like having a lot of lights, like having their TVs, their speakers out. Some people don't. They make TVs now that mimic artwork on the wall. So you may need a budget for that. So keep that in mind. So moving on from our values, I also want you to declutter and deep clean. So we are making big changes. We need to make sure that we have enough room to accept all the good stuff, all the good changes that we're about to invite in. Sage if you need to. I know personally when I'm redecorating a space, I like to do a deep clean. So I just redid my office and I'll be uploading a video, kind of like my new like computer space. But and if you want to see that, you can click right here. But when I do my spaces, I always clean the area. So I'll sweep, I'll mop, and then I'll go and clean all the baseboards, get all the dust off. I have ceiling fans in all the rooms in my house, so I'll go and I'll clean the ceiling fans just so that I know when I move all of my new furniture and arrange everything I need to arrange, I won't have to go through and dust it all. So that's really an important piece. Next, we're going to discuss how to brainstorm what you think you would like in the space. So what I like to do is I really, really heavily rely on Pinterest. So I'll pin pins according to the style that I kind of want to go with for the space. I'll go to IKEA or another furniture store just to get an idea of kind of what I want. They do a really good job of kind of laying out all the furniture pieces and certain decor. So I'll take pictures of a space that I like and then try to mimic it with either cheaper items or the same items that I see at the furniture store. Um, you can also make a spreadsheet for pricing, and that'll kind of help you with planning. So I know when I'm doing in a new space, I'll make a spreadsheet with every item, where I need to buy it from, the price, just so that I can kind of know, how badly is this going to affect my budget, and then where can I substitute something for either a cheaper cost or free. So that's what you can do. Also, take a look into making a mood board. Sometimes, if you're more visual, you may need to print out actual pages or cut them out from a magazine, paste it on a little board, and then have that as your visual representation when you're going to shop so that you know you can stay in the color palette that you want and kind of stay with the theme. Like if you're getting mid-century modern, you'll want to get items that look like the mid-century modern theme. Also, take a look at color psychology. So, color is very, very important. So, for example, blue can bring a calming effect, orange can kind of give you a little bit of energy, kind of help the creative juices flow. So, you really want to pick a color for your walls that is really going to resonate with you and your space and the feel that you want for your space. Lighting is also another very, very important component that you want to consider. Some people like kind of darker, moody environments. Some people like lighter and brighter environments. I know for me, I'm very, very affected by light, and my mood is very affected by light. So if it's been raining for many, many days, or I've been inside and I really haven't gone out to get sun, I can really feel the difference. So I try to make a point to make sure that there's lots of lighting in my house and easy access to windows, nice big bright windows, just so I know that I can get the sunshine that I need because I'm a little flower. So moving on, I also want you to think about the zones that you want to create in your home. So for me, this is really, really important, partly because I get distracted so easily. For my home, I have a clear, definite spot for all my craft things. And then I have another spot for my office things. So like if I'm studying Korean, or I'm trying to kind of re-educate myself on some of the medical terminology that I have to deal with day to day, I need those areas to be separated so that I can focus. Same thing for my bedroom. I don't really keep anything in my bedroom except for like a bed and like maybe a nightstand because I want that space to be focused on sleep. I have trouble sleeping sometimes, so I try to make that space exclusively for sleep and try to minimize any light, like a TV. I try to minimize any distractions that would distract me from getting into that sleep mindset. So if you're the type of person like that, I really, really highly recommend that you kind of decorate and plan in terms of zones so that you can organize your mind and your space. So that's all I wanted to talk about for the first video. Thank you so very much for watching. Now that you have your prep work done and you are ready to move on to the next step, go ahead and click my next video so that we can address more environmental tips to kind of help boost your environment, to help you feel better and heal better in your space. Thank you for watching. Bye.